It's a non-starter. Look, you want to call down the wrath of God on Costa Sangre in LA? I'm all in. But an undercover op with Lucy in Mexico? Forget it. We got no jurisdiction.
TID found a cigarette pack in the weeds under the van. Mexican packaging. And the girls don't smoke.
Finding a pack of Mexican cigarettes in LA is not out of the ordinary.
Yeah, but there are other key forensics that also point to Mexico. And the murders were gruesome, even for the cartel. If that was done by a local, the streets would be buzzing, and I have heard nothing. I don't need your buy-in. I need your support to go to Gray. I hear the Monica Task Force is targeting Costa Sangre's boss, Rogelio Zambada.
Okay, those women were low-level drug mules. You're gonna have to climb 2 miles of food chain to get to Zambada. And why isn't Lucy here with you, pushing for this?
She wants this approved on its merits, without the girlfriend factor. But she will use it if you say no to me.
Have you heard back from IA?
I got my notice of intent, but the hearing has not been scheduled. And if you are implying that I am using this as a way to delay my showdown with internal affairs,
No,
then...
I'm wondering why you're spearheading a mission when you made it very clear over the last 4 years that you were done with long-term undercover work after it pretty much destroyed your life.
When I was working undercover with the cartels, I knew so many girls that either ended up missing or dead, and nobody cared. If IA takes my badge, at least I know that I spent the last of my time here trying to get justice for these two women.
Okay. That's my answer.
So you'll support us going to the task force?
Yeah.
And?
And I will find the resources to cover it. But none of this matters if Gray says...
No.
All right, we're starting off this episode strong with Tim kind of like in a battle with himself. I want to talk about something real quick because it relates to this scene in this episode that I always found to be the truth, but I never really saw anyone talk about it really. And that is that Tim's reservations toward undercover work were never truly because of Isabel. Because Tim knows that Lucy is not Isabel, and this is going to be proven in a scene later that we're also going to cover. But for now, it's important to know that even in season 5, they talked, and they went out of that conversation with Tim trusting Lucy that she is not like Isabel. So I think that his reservations about undercover work don't come from Isabel. They come from the unpredictability of undercover work and the dangers it poses. Because when you think about it, Lucy is walking into a lion's den. She's walking into active danger, wearing a completely new identity, at a risk of being found out, and 500,000 of other things that could go wrong. She doesn't have her badge, she doesn't have backup, she doesn't have her radio, she doesn't have anything to lean on if things go south. She's alone. That is the exact thing Tim hates. He has to watch her walk into that lion's den, and he can't do anything about it. And I think the unpredictability of it all is really eating him from the inside out because he lived in that same unpredictability for years. And this is the kind of unpredictability he takes home with him. This is not the unpredictability that shows up for 8 or 10 or 12 hours a day when he puts on his uniform. He wears this unpredictability with himself 24/7. He goes home without Lucy. He goes to bed wondering if Lucy is alive. There's always that sense of unpredictability, and he hates having it outside of uniform. And he just hates the idea of not being able to help. So I think that's what his reservations with undercover work are. And here in this scene, you can also see it. You know, he's kind of like going back and forth with himself whether or not he should approve this or not. Realistically, he knows that Lucy's going to be safe, a little safer, because Nyla is with her. But, you know, there's still a battle going in him, but this time around, I think he understands that the reason why he hates undercover work is because it's so unpredictable, and it's the scary kind of unpredictable.
It'll be 4 weeks, minimum.
I don't know. You just moved in. It's like you're already moving out.
You could think of it as an excuse to play your video games at full volume all weekend.
Okay, you make my life sound so empty.
No. Okay. How about this? The longer I'm gone, the happier you'll be when I come back.
Alright, well, this is the same man who once pushed everything away with an I'm fine every single time Lucy had to go undercover. And now this same man is cuddling with his girlfriend in their bed, telling her how he is going to miss her and that it feels like she is already moving out when she has just moved in. There's fear there, obviously. We established that much from the previous scene. But I feel like this is a lot of progress for someone like Tim, who never really, talked about how he felt before. And now he just knows that all of those feelings, the uncertainty, the fear, the missing, the longing, that all of that is normal and it's perfectly fine, and he is no less of a man by admitting all of that, and he is no less for feeling all of that. And it also feels like he's a little calmer this time around. Maybe it's because he's talking about it, and that's why he feels, a little more leveled in that sense. It's really an upgrade from when you think about how it was in season 5 when he would just, you do what you gotta do. And this time he's saying the same thing as well. You do what you gotta do, but there's a lot more confidence in a way and understanding that wasn't there before. Because he is open and vulnerable with her about it and just talking about it instead of avoiding like plague. That's already such a huge shift from how it used to be.
Welcome to Astro Burger. Can I take your order?
No, but I've got something else you can take. I'm a sucker for a man in uniform.
Easy.
Look, we're on to the guys that you gave Rafa's drugs to and the blue car recording the exchange.
To blackmail us. That means we'll be making the trip for the hardcore drugs next.
Any clarity on who killed Jordan and Courtney?
Maybe.
No.
Our cartel contact smokes the brand we found at the murder scene.
That's pretty weak.
Yeah, I know.
All right, back to it. That'll be 1070.
Thank you. See you soon.
I'll be here.
Can we talk about the fact that Lucy said that in front of Nyla Salad? Like, jeez, Lucy, control your ovaries, girl. But I can't blame her. Genuinely, I can't blame her. Also, I love Tim's little shocked face there. Like, didn't you say she was a freak in the sheets? Why are you surprised? Alright, in all seriousness. This is not a huge scene, yet again, but it's those subtle little moments that matter a lot when you add them up. And the little taps, the silent communication between the two of them, and the longing, the fact that both of them miss the other. Lucy misses Tim, Tim misses Lucy, and this is something fleeting, something small, something they can afford to do in the midst of all of that. And also, it proves that Tim is very much a physical touch guy. Like, if you don't agree, again, there's a wall behind me you can argue with, but Tim is a physical touch guy, and not just giving, but receiving as well, which makes a lot of sense when you think about his childhood, and the way that the hands in his childhood did nothing but inflict pain on him, and drew blood from him. And now he is obviously craving for a touch that is gentle and kind, and Lucy gives him that like it's the easiest thing she's ever done, because it is. He is very tactile in that sense. Obviously, he's not going to be, touchy-touchy where everyone can see, but off clock, you can definitely tell he craves a kind and gentle touch.
Chase killed the girls. What? He must be working for a cartel? Maybe Rafa? I say we hold on arresting him and make the drug run to LA.
What?
No, this is major weight, which will make for a bigger arrest on the other side.
No, Nyla. The whole point of us coming down here was to get those 2 women justice. It is the only thing that matters, right?
You're right. You're right. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize, Zach. I got you, okay?
I know this is a Tim video, but this helps prove my point that I talked about just now about how Lucy isn't Isabel. And I actually am going to argue and say that Nyla is more like Isabel than Lucy is. It's seen here in this scene in particular when Nyla loses sight of the op. She wants to uncover the cartel. She wants to stay longer so she could, catch a bigger fish. She lost the track of what she came there for, and I think that's the reason why she struggled so much, why undercover work pulled her so deep, and why she ended up having such a hard time reverting back to patrol and finding her footing and everything. She was swallowed really deep into that whole undercover life because it gave you that kind of, adrenaline rush and the sense of accomplishment and everything. And she always aimed for more. She was always hungry for more as an undercover cop. And I think Isabel was a lot like that as well. It's just that, she kind of went in a separate direction from Nyla at one point. Nyla always stayed loyal to her badge and the law she was sworn to uphold, where Isabel threw that out the window at some point. But in that sense, you can see Lucy is nothing like that. Lucy is the one who talked Nyla down. She's the one who's like, hey, we're not here for the cartel. We're not here to uncover them. We're not here to patrol Mexico. We're here to find the people who murdered those girls. That's our task. That's why we're here. That's exact proof why Lucy is never going to be like Isabel. Because Lucy never loses sight of what she came there for. She knows how much going undercover costs her, and she is not looking for a bigger fish to fry. She's not looking for more work. She had been given a task to complete, and she's going to complete it. And that's it. And then she's going to debrief and go home. And that's simply it.
You couldn't handle van life, Lucy.
Oh, look, I'm aware. She definitely wouldn't have dated a cop.
Actually, that time in my life was mostly bad. On the bright side, that's what led me to join the academy. I think I just wanted to be that person I didn't see around me. Somebody who cared.
And then you got a training officer who punished you for caring too much.
Yeah. But, I won in the end.
Yeah.
I actually can't believe these scenes are real. Every single time I see them, I'm like, no way. No fucking way. This scene is kind of, cute. A lot of scenes with Tim this season have been cute because he is cute and he should not be this cute, but it's the Lucy Chan effect. Anyway, what I was gonna say is this scene kind of gives us confirmation on Tim's end of how much Lucy changed him for the better and how much she always understood him and saw him as more than just an asshole. I think Lucy's view of Tim changed at the same time as our view of Tim changes when we watch the show. We start off thinking that Tim is a asshole of epic proportions, and then we see him with his wife, and then we kind of start realizing, like, oh, okay, he's human too, he's human too, and he is helpless, and he is alone, he's abandoned, his wife left him, and you start feeling well, maybe you start feeling sorry for the guy, or maybe you just understand him more and not hate him as much, even though he's still an asshole, obviously. This is kind of telling us something that we have seen since forever, and that is that Lucy was very successful in avoiding Tim's walls, but not in the sense of avoidance that was like pretending they don't exist. Lucy very much acknowledged those. She knew they were there and that they were there for a reason. So she kind of did this thing where she would try to learn them. She would try to decipher them. She would try to see what it was that made him build those walls around himself to protect himself, because no one does that for no reason. There had to be a reason. And whenever she would, get a piece of it in her hands and she would understand a little bit more about him as a person, about his past, about his life, she would not mock him. She would not make him feel worthless. She would not laugh at him. She would just be like, okay, I understand. She saw him for who he truly was. And for a long while, that really, really scared him. You can see that in the episode 1 of season 2, when he kind of tries to push her away after he was so vulnerable and scared in the season 1 finale because he thought he was gonna die. He was so vulnerable in that episode, and then the next episode is like a switch, complete switch, and he's just like trying to, push her further back, but she never took that. She never gave up on him. And in the end, she did win because she knocked down all of those walls and she helped him become a better man, but also he won as well, because the reason why he is here today and because he is now happier than ever is because of Lucy's stubbornness. Lucy won, yes, but in Lucy's victory, Tim also came out on the victorious side.